Now time for the senior second chance heat. Here is your starting grid. So on pole position from Austria, it will be Krzysztof Sala. Leon Zelenko from Croatia will line up alongside on the front row. Due to have Rached Ganim alongside, but has not broken the timing beam, so either might not be taking the start or might be in the repair area waiting to be released after the start. William Helgstrand from Denmark will be on the outside of row number 2. Row 3, Sebastian Bach and Kamal Murad. Row 4, Lawrence Herboz and Maxence Bouvier, with Jaden Pope and Matteo Pianezzola rounding out the top 10. Jules Roussel, Daniel Hausberg, William Christensen, Zach Scala, Janin Schultz, Jan Pinto, Kaz Boshaus, Montego Mas and Andrea Kostic and Lotus Sween round out the top 20. Completing the 36-strong grid will be as follows. Rafael Jesus, Sverre Ubben, Martin Geiskens, Mathis Kamnejak, Rafael Venhofer, Lukas Schlegel, Paul Hamburg, Andrei Petrovic, Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort, Scott Westhovens, Felipe Falk, Miro Halika, Stephanie Hobeker, Puck Gubbles, Magic Himera and Baptiste Schneider. So Rached Ganim is actually on the starting grid. Just had visual confirmation of that. So Krzysztof Sala and Leon Zelenko on the front row. Red lights on the starting gantry. 10 minutes plus an additional lap of racing ahead of us to decide the top 6 to go through to the final stages of this weekend's competition. So out of the final corner, they split and go into the tram lines. The revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? The senior second chance heat gets underway right now. Good start by Sala as Rached Ganim looking up the inside early, but Leon Zelenko gets an absolutely brilliant start. And he manages to go around the front row. Someone has gone off the circuit and is very, very slow as we've had 2 carts off. Make that 4, 5, 6, 7 carts off of the conventional racing line, and there's more dramas. This time for Krzysztof Sala. He went sideways and straight on at turn 6. So the conditions a little bit trickier out there than maybe some of the drivers anticipated. But at the moment, Leon Zelenko leads the second chance heat and by a comfortable margin. Down into Cafe Corner at turn 10. Braking zones have to be rejudged and re-evaluated in these conditions, especially when drivers are using slick Mojo D5s to get around this circuit. As the 396, that's Austria's Daniel Hausberg firmly fired up. As Rached Ganim has got the 338, that's Sebastian Bach, and then the 378 of William Christensen getting past him. But Ganim is not giving up, and he's got back through on Christensen. He goes off the circuit and narrowly avoids the tyre barrier on the right-hand side of the entrance into turn number 5. That was very, very close. He's going to have to wait and let a lot of people pass, and people are trying to overtake, and Christensen gets back onto the grass and is sideways. We've got 1 cart off of turn number 3. Driver walking away under their own steam. Oh, dearie me. Well, that just goes to show how quickly things can turn upside down on its head. So Christensen was very lucky to get away. But now at the front of the field, it's not just Leon Zelenko up there. You're going to have a few other drivers, one of which will be Maxence Bouvier from France. William Helgstrand up to 3rd place. Jaden Pope from Belgium up to 4th. Krzysztof Sala and Sebastian Bach currently round out the top 6 positions as we still have just under 8 minutes plus an additional lap still to go. So it looks like that is Lawrence Herbose's race weekend over and done with. Kaz Boshouse also not having a good time. He's all the way down in 36 and might be out too. There's Matteo Pianizzola in the 3:56. Behind him he's got Austria's Daniel Halsworth. So that will be the battle for 8th place on the road. Rashid Ghanem just outside of the top 6 at this moment in time. As the top 3 working together. 4th, that is Jaden Popert from Belgium with the GKS Levens power crew. And it is still Christophe Salah and Sebastian Bach. Christophe Salah had the nastiest of scares going through into turn 6 a couple of laps ago, as we're now on to lap number 3 of the race. So this is the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. And based on their finishing position in the second chance heat, that will determine their position on the back of the grid for the pre-final for seniors, which takes place at 12:35 local time here in Belgium. But 2 sets of 3 kart battles, 1 for the victory, 1 for 4th place. But there are some drivers that are looking to move forward. And at the moment, Maxence Bouvier, who now has the lead ahead of Leon Zelenko, has just put in the fastest lap of the race, a 54.781. But then Zach Scowler, who's with the Yaz Heat Racing Academy, he's now made his way up to 10th position and has just pumped in a 54.585 second lap time. The 321, sorry, not the 321, the 316. So there's still plenty of this race to go, which means that anything can happen. Leaders are now making their way out of turn 9, down towards Cafe Corner at turn 10. Top 3 were covered by just under 4/10 of a second. It was about half a second between 4th, 5th and 6th. But Rashid Ghanem is leading the charge to try and pull their way towards those in front. It's got 54 Squadra Corse's Matteo Pianizzola closing in on him. Daniel Halsworth in 9th. Zach Scowler running at the top 10. There has been a change. Christophe Salah now up into 4th position, past Jaden Pope. There is Sebastian Bach from Denmark in the 338, waiting for his opportunity. But Pope up the inside. Christophe Salah loses 2 positions because Bach also gets through. And Ghanem and Pianizzola are right with them. And they are now latching onto the back of that train. So Rashid Ghanem and Matteo Pianizzola do have the pace. And there goes Ghanem up the inside. That is going to be on Christophe Salah. He pushes him wide. Pianizzola gets through and gets the pair of them at the same time. Rashid Ghanem now, well, that was Daniel Halsworth that's just got through on Christophe Salah, his countryman from Austria. So there's going to be a lot of chopping and changing in the next 4 minutes and 20 seconds, but that's going to be particularly a focus at the bottom part of the top 6, because now Rashid Ghanem is closing back in on those in front, because Pianizzola is now in the danger zone in that 6th and final spot. As all know, there has been drama. Scowler, no, that was Ghanem and Pianizzola. The disappointment clear to see on the Italian's face, and he is out. There will be yellow flags at the marshal post off of turn 7. So Pianizzola out of the kart, dejected, disappointed, and understandably not happy. But those things do happen. It's part and parcel of racing. But the top 2, Maxence Bouvier and Leon Zelenko, have now broken away from William Helgstrand. Now, at the moment, Christophe Salah is back into the top 6. Zach Scowler, however, is right on his case at this moment. About 0.3 of a second behind. is the 316 from the UAE. Leaders now making their way through into the left-hander here at turn number 11. So far in this race, we've lost Lawrence Herboz, we've lost Rafael Renhofer, and we've also now lost Matteo Pianizzola. Lead is just over 0.3 of a second between Bouvier and Zelenko. Helgstrand, Sebastian Bach, Jaden Pope, and Christoph Saller round out the top 6 positions. But Zach Scowler needs to get a little bit of a move on. He's got just over 2 minutes and a quarter, plus an additional lap to try and close up that 0.6 of a second disadvantage he's got. And there is Zach Scowler with Kamal Murad from Australia. Montego Mawson has got past Daniel Halsworth, who rounds out the top 10 as Scowler runs a little bit deep into turn number 7. There's Kamal Murad looking up the inside through turn 9, can't get the job done. And Halsworth trying to get alongside Montego Mawson. Kamal Murad is trying to defend now. Rashid Ghanem is coming into this, so is Sverre Ubben. So this is the battling for 7th backwards. Montego Mawson now past Kamal Murad for 8th place. As we've got just 1 minute and 19 seconds plus an additional lap on the timer remaining. Maxence Bouvier, in the meantime, has set the fastest lap of the race on lap number 9 out of 9 so far, 54.424 seconds. We've got just over 60 seconds remaining in this senior second chance heat. There is your race leader. There's second, there's third. So Bouvier, Zelenko, Helgstrand round out the top 3. Then it's Sebastian Bach. So 2 RS competition drivers poised to go up into the top 6 and progress to the pre-final and the final in the senior Rotax ranks. Onto the back straightaway go the race leaders. Now into turn 7. And behind Christoph Saller, the train that is still being led by Zach Scowler from the UAE is at least 10 carts long. Time has expired. Last lap board is out. Maxence Bouvier, Leon Zelenko, William Helgstrand, Sebastian Bach, Jaden Pope, and Christoph Saller round out the 6 at the moment. For away and clear, but the train behind is coming across the start-finish line, and it is lengthy. We've had a turnaround at turn number 2. Oh my goodness, someone is so lucky that they didn't get clattered into. Now, was that Montego Mawson? It might have been the 394 from Germany. It gets going once again. And it was Montego Mawson. The front Nassau panel has been pushed over at the bottom to the left-hand side. But at the front of the field, Maxence Bouvier from France comes out of the final corner, and the French driver will win the second chance heats for seniors ahead of Leon Zelenko. William Helgstrand takes 3rd. 4th, it's Sebastian Bach. Jaden Pope from Belgium takes 5th, and it's Austria's Christoph Saller that takes the final spot in the top 6 positions. It's going to be a run to the line. Who's going to take 7th? It is Daniel Halsworth from Austria, pipping both Kamal Murad and Zach Scowler by a combined margin of 62 thousandths of a second between 7th, 8th and 9th. Sverre Ubben takes 10th ahead of Rashid Ghanem. Lotus Fiend 12th. Magic Hamera with a great comeback from the back of the grid to finish 13th. Jan Pinto, Andrej Petrovic, Lukas Schlegel, Paul Hamburg, Baptiste Schneider, Andrea Kostic and Miro Halika round out the top 20. Mathis Karnijak, Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort, Stephanie Hobeker, Martin Gaiskens, Jules Roussel, William Christensen, Scott Westhovens, Jaren Schultz, Pat Gubbles, Felipe Falk and Kaz Boshouse round out the 31 drivers that finished all 12 laps. Montego Masson, unfortunately, his race coming to an abrupt end with a lap to go. Rafael Jesus, Matteo Pianizzola, Rafael Renhofer and Lawrence Herboz rounded out the field, and all of them did retire. So we would whittle down a combined 66-strong senior Rotax grid to 36 after this final chance to get into the top 36 in the senior Rotax classification. It was Christoph Saller and Leon Zelenko that were on the front row with a packed capacity grid of 36 drivers. And when the lights went out, Leon Zelenko took a very, very good advantage, using the outside line, sweeping around Christoph Saller as the field made their way into turns 1 and 2 on the opening time. There were some dramas, however, as one of the drivers, Rafael Renhofer, would end up grass tracking, and then there was this massive multi-cart incident, 2 off exit stage right at the outside part of turn number 3. Which involved the 342 and the 393. That was Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort being one of them, Scott Westhovens being the other. And then there was this frantic battle between the likes of the 378 of William Christensen and Rashad Ghanem. And Christensen kept it completely sideways, missing the barrier, the tyres, on the approach into turn 5. Then went to rejoin the circuit and had to wait to let people go past, but there were still people trying to do overtaking. And then that was the moment where Lawrence Herboz kicked the bumper of his kart in absolute frustration. And that looked to be that Kaz Boshouse was also involved. Jaden Pope was making some steady moves up the field and would make his way into the top 6, as both he and the 338 would both get past, and that was Sebastian Bach past Christoph Saller. And then coming into turn number 10, it was the 396 of Daniel Halsworth that centered up the inside of Christoph Saller with Zach Scowler not too far adrift. Then this moment here, contact between Rashad Ghanem and Matteo Pianizzola, with both bumping up into the air onto the grass, and Pianizzola retired on the spot. Rashad Ghanem has subsequently been given a 5-second time penalty for pushing, sending his apologies there, but the disappointment clear to see for the Italian from 54 Squadra Corsi. Zach Scowler would also drift wide at turn number 7, being in a battle with a quartet of drivers, including Montego Masson, amongst others, with Rashad Ghanem, with the 396 of Daniel Halsworth not too far behind, but it was Maxence Bouvier from France that would win the senior second chance seat, ahead of Leon Zelenko, William Helgstrand taking P3, Sebastian Bach, Jaden Pope and Christoph Saller, the pole sitter, provisionally going through to the top 36. And then there was the drag race at the end of the race, which saw that it was 3 wide with Daniel House